Welcome back to the channel, everyone, and welcome back from the Isle of Arran. And what you can see behind me is Loch Bay on the north of the island. I arrived here yesterday for 4 days of wildlife photography. I don't really have a particular target list in mind, really anything I can get, but I am going to try and focus on things that I wouldn't normally get the opportunity to photograph in Wiltshire. So things like shorter owls and hen harriers, where I know I can find them in my local area. I'm going to try and sort of not go after them here, but obviously if the opportunity arises to take a nice photo of one, I'm not going to turn it down. So primarily, I guess, things like seals. In fact, you can probably see some seals, I hope, behind me right now, basking in the sun. Otters, if I can find them here. I gather they're very, very elusive, and I've not really got any experience of seals or otter photography. And of course, some coastal birds as well. And of course, there's lots of red deer on this island as well. And I must say, the red deer have been a bit of a surprise to me because, my first experience of seeing one was driving along on the car, got to Loch Ranzo. There's a small kind of, I guess, village green area. There's some kids playing football, playing football on the village green area, and right in the middle of that is a young stag just chilling there, eating the grass. He's not bothered at all that there's people there, and again, I went to the pub yesterday evening for some food and a glass of wine or two, and then on the way back, walking through the dark, head torch on, red deer eyes lit up all the way around us, and they absolutely don't care about people, which, to be honest with you, is quite a shock for me. I don't think I've seen deer as tame as this since sort of going to Richmond Park, for example. Obviously, they have free roam of the whole island. They're not fenced in. I gather the locals name the stags by name. They're known by individual names. So, I am going to take some photos of those if the opportunity arises to get a decent photo, but I've got to be honest, it doesn't really feel like a wildlife photography if the subjects are so tame. So I might get the odd shot of a red deer or two. I might pop on screen for this video, but I'm not going to focus on them, which is a bit of a shame, really, because I did come here hoping to take some nice pictures of red deer, and yes, I can get nice pictures of red deer, but they're just so easy to take the pictures of. As I said, it doesn't really feel like there's a challenge, or I've got to work for the photos, and I don't think I'll appreciate the end results as much because of that. But anyway, so reason why I'm filming right now is because I don't want to get too close, making a noise and disrupt the seals behind me. They know I'm here. I'm sure they can hear me, but what I don't want to do is pretty much shout in their ears, filming this piece of camera to you guys. So I'm now going to stop filming and try and work a little bit closer to the seals. I've got the 200 to 800 on me. I know it's only f11, but I want to try and be as respectful as I can to the wildlife and not get too close. So if I can get nice frame-filling shots without getting too close, then I think that's all the better for everyone concerned. But I do want to get a bit closer to the sea so that I can get lower down to try and help that background separation, because f11, that's the one weakness of the RF 200 to 800mm lens, just not being able to get the out of focus backgrounds. And my primary camera for that will be the Canon R6. So without further ado, I'll say goodbye to you for now, but stick around, and hopefully I'll be able to share some nice photos of seals that I've got. That was a quick learning lesson. The tide is coming back. I'm going to say tide is coming in towards the shore. If I've got that the wrong way around, I do apologise. That's a bit of a learning lesson for me. It's my first time photographing in tidal waters on the seashore, and that tide is coming in fast. So I must have only been there 5 minutes, and my tripod was all flat to the floor, was almost completely covered. At that point I thought, you know what, I better move my gear before I get carried away photographing and then find that my camera gear is underwater. So I've come back up here where it looks like it's been dry for a good while. I've got quite a bit of time that I can stay here and get settled before the tide reaches here. But yeah, top learning tip there, watch the speed of the tide. It's faster than you think. Just going to show you the scene. So this lens is zoomed out as far as it can go at 18 millimeters. So opposite the other shore, I don't know if you can see that, is Loch Ranza. I'm going to call it a village. Slightly to the right hand side there is the port of Loch Ranza, where my finger is roughly pointing to. The seals were basking in some rocks which are just in front of the ones you can see now. Because the tide is coming in, as in towards me, towards the shore, I think that means the tide's coming in. I'll get it right one day. The rocks that they were basking on have been covered by water, and so that means that the seals are actually getting closer to me. So if I just spin you around here, you might be able to make out on camera one just there. So he, as an example, was much further out, but as his rock got covered with water, he started to come closer to shore, closer towards me. So I guess the top tip here is that if you just sit quietly, don't make any noise, try not to move much, don't be a disturbance, they will kind of get used to you being there, and as their rocks become submerged with water, they will seek out other rocks where they can bask in the sun closer to you. So that's a top tip there. I have definitely got close to the seals because they've come closer to me, purely because I'm sure I've just been sat here for about an hour and a half now, and they're more used to me than they were, of course, when I first arrived. Good morning. Well, it's actually the day after. I've decided to come back, get up first thing in the morning and get here just before sunrise so that I could try and get seals in better golden light. I've had a very obliging few seals in front of me already, and I've actually already done my photography and I'm done for the day. I didn't want to talk first thing because it was so peaceful here. I didn't want to interrupt the wildlife, etc. But now that the sun's risen and it's getting on for 8 o'clock, I thought I'd be pretty much safe to vlog. There's also a house nearby out of shot, and I'm sure they wouldn't appreciate me being too loud filming a video talking to camera right outside their house at 6 o'clock in the morning, so on a Sunday morning as well. Right, so the sun actually rises just there, direct behind me, and as you can see there's a hill in the way, and what that means really is that by the time the sun goes over that hill, I think the light will be probably pretty harsh, but I've still been able to get some nice shots even after sunrise, despite not having any direct light on the seals themselves. So I'm still really happy. I could of course try and come back in the evening and film from the other side of the bay. If I spin you around now, which I'm not going to do. If I just zoom this lens out a little bit, you'll see that there's the village of Loch Ranza there, and the ferry port just there. In fact, there's a ferry dock there, ready to go. That place gets quite busy in the evenings, and it's not really kind of the best place, I think, to film seals from that side. Also, to be honest, I have the same issue, which is that this hill on the left-hand side, if I just spin you around, you're going to block some of the sunlight because the sun sets directly over that hill. But you know, I'm thrilled to bits with photos I've had so far. I think I'm going to leave these seals alone now. They're still out there basking. You might be able to make it. There's one just there, and another one just there, and quite a few more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait actually until... No, wait, I've changed my mind. I'm not going to go just yet. I'm actually going to wait until the sun does rise over that hill and directly light the seals up, and then just see kind of what quality of light I've got. If it's too harsh or it's the same as yesterday, then, you know, I'm very happy with my shots. I will try and move on and find some other subjects to photograph. For those of you wondering what happened yesterday, after I'd finished photographing the seals, I went back to the campsite, had a bit of lunch, and then decided with my girlfriend, who is camping with me this weekend, to just take a drive around the whole of the perimeter of the island. I think an old army general once said time spent on reconnaissance is never wasted, so hopefully that's going to prove to be the case. So yeah, plenty of other places I could see to photograph wildlife, and perhaps seals in particular. Kept an eye out for otters, but obviously not really practical to search for whilst driving in the car, but I didn't mind, kept my eyes peeled anyway. Maybe I'll get lucky this time, don't know. Did come across some gannets fishing, and I managed to get a few shots of those in flight, so yeah, pretty happy with those. I think they are absolutely stunning, beautiful birds, and in fact I must make an effort one day to try and photograph them, perhaps our RSPB beds and cliffs or something like that. Never been. I hear that's the place to go for those. One final thing I will mention before anyone says it in the comments, just in case you're wondering, yeah, I know there's no need to camouflage yourself up, or at least on the Isle of Arran, I think, photographing seals, or in fact even the red deer, because they're so tame. The only reason I'm actually wearing this particular gear is because it happens to be the only set of waterproofs that I own, and the beach is pretty wet as the tide's coming in, going out, and I'm laying belly down, flat across the pebble beach, which by the way is pretty painful. So I guess top tip is if you plan to do that and you're going to be here a while, and you can bring like a rolling mat or something like a foam mat, I'd do so, at least just to take off the edge from some of the sharp rocks. But yeah, that's the only reason why I'm wearing camo, just because it's the only set of waterproofs I've got. You don't really need to come up. The seals can see you, as long as you are respectful of them. Don't take the mick, give them plenty of space. Just maybe don't even try and get close to them straight away. Just park up, maybe just sit by the side of the beach for a while, just let them get used to your presence, and then you can slowly make your way close to them without them freaking out over time. Just little increments, sort of 5 minutes, 10 minutes in one place, then just a few meters closer, another 5 or 10 minutes, a few meters closer. And that's the way probably, I think, to work your way close to the seals. And of course, as I said earlier on, once the tide is out at sea, and you've made it down to the beach, you'll find that the seals will naturally start to come back towards you for rocks that have not yet been covered in water to bathe on, so to bask on. Sorry. So that's what I've learned so far in my limited time here of seal photography. Okay, so I'm going to leave these seals be. Going to head back, get some breakfast, and then the plan is to try and find red squirrels if I can. Don't really know exactly where to go, but I believe there are some at Brodick Country Park, so we're going to head there in the hope of finding some red squirrels. I also kind of hope that they're not tame and used to people feeding them, because if they are, then I'm going to have to question myself as to whether I'm actually doing wildlife photography or basically just taking photos at a zoo or the equivalent of. So we'll see how that goes, but Brodick Country Park as a starting point. Girlfriend will be coming with me, so we'll probably spend most of the day there, I suspect, and then we'll take it from there. Right, just before I go, a heron's just landed right in front of me, but it's not just any heron, it's a completely white heron. And yes, it's a heron. It's not a great white egret or a little egret or a cattle egret. It's a heron, but it's clearly got a genetic, I don't know what you call it, not deformity, but mutation or whatever in its gene where it's completely white. I'm going to see if I can get some photographs of it for you. Okay, so I'm now on day 3 of my Arran trip, which is going to last 4 days in total. I thought I'd give you a bit of an update in terms of what happened after I left you when I was photographing the seals for the second time round. As you recall, I was hopeful to try and find and photograph some red squirrels, so I did head off to Brodick Country Park to try and find some, as my research told me that they were there. It's a National Trust site. You have to pay to get in. It's about £8.50 more or less to access the parking gardens. But when I got there, I asked if there were red squirrels around, and straight away I was directed to a hide that they have, which you can view them from. But the hide is also fed, so that they are fed every morning, and you can view them from a hide. I didn't really feel that was kind of wildlife photography, really. I might as well just take pictures of them at a zoo, really, for you instead. So I didn't stick around there to take pictures. Did have a walk around the park, look at the plants and other things, and instead headed back to base camp, where I then thought, what am I going to do? Not sure. So I decided to look around for some areas where I could kind of just, I guess, do some hill walks to try and understand more of the lay of the land, and I'm very glad I did, because I came across a golden eagle. So I'm really, really chuffed to bits to have seen one of those at some distance, mind. And when I say some distance, extremely far away. So very, very small in the viewfinder. But hey, golden eagle, fantastic to see. I count myself as very, very lucky. The weather here today is much more grey and overcast. They soar really, really high. I don't really want to go shooting into a grey sky and get muddy, poor quality pictures. So I'm going to try and focus on ground species today. So what I've done is I've come for another walk out this morning, a bit more local to where I'm staying, just to see what's out and about. And I came across one red squirrel. So really chuffed to bits, at least to see that. I've got a picture. It's really, really distant. It was a lot closer to me, but unfortunately, in my kind of shock, I made the school error of not having my camera ready to take the shot. So by the time I'd sorted my camera out in the settings, it had fleed. So I'm going to have another go. I've gone out for some lunch. I've driven back to the same area that I saw the red squirrel earlier, and I'm going to just go there very, very light, no tripod, as quiet as I can, and then just wait and see if one turns up. Just to demonstrate, I've got no mic, so apologies if the audio is crap, how tame the deer here are. I'm on the 100-500mm lens. I'm actually at 100mm, and you can see in the middle of town there's a red deer. It's just shed one of its antlers, just there, just not bolted at all. In fact, the other morning I had to walk through a herd of stags whilst going to the place to photograph seals. And to be honest with you, I was a little bit nervous because they were clearly quite tame and used to people, and with that, obviously not frightened of us, I didn't want to get charged. Luckily they did move, but there you go. Now if I zoom out to 500mm on this lens, you can see I get a pretty much frame filling shot of a stag. I will take a couple of pictures of him anyway, just to demonstrate, but there you go. That's how tame they are here. You can see people walking behind there, so that's why I haven't photographed red deer primarily on this trip, because as lovely as they whoops, can't hold the camera still, as lovely as they are, it just doesn't really feel like wildlife photography when they're this tame. I mean, I've not seen anything like this since a trip to Richmond Park. They are really kind of Richmond Park levels of tameness, but there you go. So 100mm, I'm on the road. This is a stag. If you can see on its head where it's lost both of its antlers, you can see where the antlers once were. Whereas the other one that I saw earlier on, which is incidentally next to it, just behind that bit of bush there, you probably can't see it, but in fact actually if I just step back to one side, there you go, he's coming into view now. Munching away on the ground. He's the one with just the one antler that I saw earlier on. In fact, I'm going to go and carry on walking by and leave these alone. There's also a car on the road anyway, so if I spin around, there's the main road. You can see just how, and this is 100mm by the way, fully zoomed in. Right, this lady, other side of this fence, scared the life out of me. I think I might be scaring her too, so we're going to just walk outside of the road, give as much space as possible. Hello? It's alright. Hello? Hello? Okay, yeah, we're good. We're good. This might not come out on camera, but the one thing I will say throughout the entire island actually that I've seen so far is how lovely crystal clear the water is, both in around the coast, but also all the streams, rivers and burns that that feed the surrounding ocean. It just looks absolutely crystal clear. I can't see any litter, any signs of pollution. Fingers crossed there's no pollution in there. I mean, it looks really, really, genuinely natural and lovely to me, which is fantastic. When the sun does shine, this water will also turn a very nice rich blue. It does remind me very much like the summer holiday brochures you see on the for the oceans around Greece, Tenerife, etc. That kind of, or the Caribbean, that lovely deep rich blue, and that's even without a circular polarizer. So yeah, very, very nice water in and around Arran. So if anyone knows what the cause of that is, the bubbles, I'd be very, very interested to know, because if I zoom out, you'll see all the way around here there are bubbles. And when I zoom into the water to get a really good view, I can't see anything down there disturbing the bottom to make those bubbles, such as fish or crabs or anything. They just seem to be coming straight from under the ground. Right, so welcome to day 3 on my Isle of Arran trip. I'm going to try, if I can today, to focus on otters. Now, I've got to confess, I've never photographed otters before. I mean, I've seen a fleeting glance of one at a local nature reserve on a lake in Wiltshire, near where I live, but otherwise I have no experience at all of them. I'm just presuming they're a little bit shy. That's the first thing to say. Now, in doing part of my research for this video, probably like a lot of you, maybe even yourself right now, I've watched quite a bit of YouTube videos in terms of how people photograph them, and I'm looking for things like, what's the surrounding area like, the backgrounds, etc. And there are a few things that, or common themes that I've noticed that I'm trying to follow. Number one is sort of rocky type areas, often with quite a bit of seaweed around. So there's seaweed all around here. Out of shot now, there's a ton of rocks just over there to my left. And I will thank a chap called, I think JP Lamoureux, his name is. I was watching his video a few days ago on his trip to the Isle of Arran. In fact, I'll pop a link to it in the description below, so I thought the information was very, very helpful. He talked about otters and mentioned that they also need fresh water as well. So I've been deliberately looking for a place where fresh water burns, I think they call them in Scotland, feeding down from the hills will come into the sea, so that hopefully I've got that balance of an area where there's obviously an ocean for them to fish in, but the fresh water that they need to sort of live on as well. I think the fresh water is to help them clean their coats for the waterproofing there. If you go and watch JP Lamoureux's video, he'll talk more about it than I do. So those are two key things for me, really: fresh water, rocky areas, and also rocks that I can use for cover. Now, there's a big rock behind me right now. You might wonder why I'm not actually sat behind that, and the reason being is because right in the bank here there are loads and loads of holes dug out, and I don't know what's dug them out, but they are clearly dug out by animals living right on the edge of the banks of the shore next to a river outlet. I just wonder whether they are otter holes or otter dens. So if they are, then number one, I better stop talking to you quite quickly, and number two, there's a chance that one might sort of exit, etc., into the sea, and I've got this boulder to kind of try and get behind there. So that's why I'm frontwards of the boulder, not behind it. Now, whether or not I'm going to have any luck, I've got absolutely no idea. I will give you an update on the red squirrels from yesterday. Unfortunately, no more red squirrels. I did not see any more at all whatsoever. And with my ferry back to the mainland departing tomorrow morning around about 10 o'clock or 10:30, I think it is, I'm very unlikely, unfortunately, to see any more red squirrels. So I'm just focusing on otters for today. I've got Canon R6 currently with the 200 to 800 millimeter lens. Within easy reach, I do also have a RF 1.4 times teleconverter, which To be honest, I really don't want to use on this 800mm lens because it's already f8.9. I'd much rather swap out for the R7 if I need to. But for now, I'm going to stick with the R6 and see what we get. I've already seen a heron getting absolutely mobbed by other seagulls, unfortunately for the borehold heron flying around here. There's a couple of swans in the distance. I think I can't work out whether they're cormorants or shags. I'm very bad at identifying those two species, but either cormorants or shags as well out there. And to be honest, quite a few other shorebirds which I'm not used to seeing. So if I can, I'll try and get some photographs of those too. So yeah, that's what I got, and fingers crossed we'll get some luck. Well, as you'll see, I've just moved. I'm really not happy with this particular spot because it's quite exposed. I'm actually quite high on top of the rocks. Reason being is those wet rocks and pebbles down there, coupled with the seaweed on top of them, they are so slippery. A couple of times I almost went over, both carrying the camera gear to and fro and also even just walking or moving there, and I don't want to risk smashing up a load of expensive camera gear that I won't be able to replace in a hurry. So safety first, really, for the camera gear. So I've come up a bit higher. It means that the shots that I do get, if I get any, are not going to be ideal. They won't be low down. I will be shooting down onto the subject, which is not good, especially when the f-stop is so high at f9 on this particular lens. But hey, it'll be one more picture I have than I've got currently. So I'll just take what I can get, I think, at this stage. I did think about abandoning it and having another go at red squirrels, but I think if I just keep chasing wildlife all day, I'm going to end up running out of time. So I think I'm just going to hunker down here and then just hope for the best, really. Well, I don't know if you ever get like this, but I'm just not feeling it here at this particular spot. I'm happy with the environment in terms of the river coming through, the shore itself, the banking. I'm just too high up for photography, and I'm also too exposed, really. And I think, to be honest with you, if I got some shots here, I'd actually probably be more annoyed with myself that I didn't make the effort to try and make them better than here. So I'm going to move. I don't know where I'm going to go, but I'm going to look for a location close to fresh water, where I can perhaps get lower down and also be better protected, whilst my camera gear is also still safe. See what I can find. Right, so I'm just moving to a slightly different spot, but a bit further away from the sea as the tide's coming in. It is an area where I can clearly see the tide does come in over this area, so I probably will have to move again, but for now, at least I'm relatively close. A few more rocks, and I've seen a few birds land on the rocks just in front of me over there, so plan is to camp out here and then see what we get. You might not make it out on camera, but there is the actual river. In fact, let me pick up the camera. Let's not be lazy. Pick up the camera and show you. So there's the river, freshwater river from the hills and mountains, flowing straight into the sea. There we go. And what I'm hoping is that this fresh water flowing into the sea, I mean, it's the ideal area for otters to hang around and hunt in, given that they need fresh water to basically wash the salt off themselves to make their fur waterproof. But Am I going to get lucky? Who knows? But I'll give it a go and see. We've had a heron come in super close. I don't think it's seen me yet. Camera videoing it. Unfortunately, the rain's just started to come down. All my camera gear, this R7, it does not have one of the silk lenses on. I have no choice but to pack it away. I'm going to try and do it as quietly as I can without upsetting the heron, and hope that it's not disturbed. Right, well, I've had to resort to mobile phone footage, so I hope you can hear me and see me okay. The heron's moved away. I may well have to move as well soon. Two reasons. First of all, as you can see here, the tide is really starting to come in, and it's probably doesn't. This camera doesn't show the true distance, but that's pretty close. It's coming in pretty rapid. Thought I saw something there at the moment. But if you look at this great big cloud above me coming and working its way towards me, that's a combination of fog and rain and what looks like a storm coming in. So I'm going to brace myself for a quick getaway, I think. Well, I'm back in England now, and I just realised that I hadn't actually signed off before leaving you at the Isle of Arran, so I'm sorry about that. What I'm going to do is leave you with a roll of other pictures that I was able to get over the course of my 4 days, some other species that I saw and took pictures of, and hopefully you'll enjoy them. Just before I do though, I do have one ask though, please. If you have enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing or giving the video a like or a thumbs up. That obviously helps my channel out, and hopefully I will see you in the next video.